I said so the Mets can win it in New York.
Yeah, they both can.
I never put that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both can win it in New York.
Yeah.
So it's still out there for you.
Yeah.
Because you lost home field. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm like, they can win it in New York. Oh, that's bad. That's going to be tough. Wait, so can the Dodgers. Oh, you're right. They can. Yeah.
Look, it's every game is its own game. And talking about the energy, talking about home field advantage, all this stuff. I think this is why, because after the game, anytime you lose a playoff game, everyone wants to blame somebody or say this guy blew it or that guy blew it. They didn't. Nobody blew it yesterday. They just got beat. The question, though, of who was going to pitch yesterday and who's going to pitch tomorrow was kind of up in the air. They went bullpen yesterday, and two things. Number one, I think you got a little bit of useful information. I don't know if it's good information, but it's useful information. I think you figured out I can't use Landon Knack in a meaningful spot. He's a kid. He's a prospect. He probably shouldn't even be pitching at all. It's all hands on deck. But he seems to get a little tight in big moments. Probably not him moving forward unless it's a blowout one way or the other, and then you can use him there. That's number one. Number two, I really like that Walker Buehler is going to pitch on the road. Then I don't know if he's going to perform like he did in Game 4, where he was terrific, or he's going to pitch poorly like he did most of the season. But I know that going into Citi Field, he's not going to be scared.
Okay, so it's not stuff; it's just his demeanor.
He's
been there before.
You saw him in San Diego. He was a gamer.
He's been there before. Yeah. Some talk about using him yesterday.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I want him to pitch in New York.
That's what I thought.
Because if you pitch him yesterday, tomorrow would be a bullpen day. And I don't know if, again, all due respect to Ryan Brazier and Landon Knack and the rest of the guys, I don't know. I'm pretty certain that Walker Buehler is going to go out there and fight like hell. That he's not going to roll over because
you could have gone back
game.
to New York up 2.
Yeah.
And then had the bullpen game there. Yeah.
That's the flip. I want here's what you're going to get in New York, too. Your 3 best guys. You're going to get Buehler, Yamamoto, Flaherty, bang, bang, bang in New York. Now,
and hopefully using your high leverage guys only, and so you can get those guys out.
That's your best possible, situation. If you're trying to beat the Mets, that's the guys you want on the mound there.
I think you go with your best foot forward on the road. I like that more. I like the idea of let's put and again, we'll figure out Game 6 and 7 when it's time to figure out. Not unlike what they did with San Diego, where all right, let's see what comes up next. We got to go bullpen game. All right, let's do it, and it worked out for him.
Go ahead.
And this is what Dave said about it. He says, "I like Walker on the road, experience. He's done it. So you're putting a guy who's not going to be scared in at hostile environment because he's pitched in the playoffs before.
And it doesn't mean he's not going to pitch poorly.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that he's going to pitch great. It means I'm going to try to eliminate as many variables as I can, and the variable of pressure, I think, is at least neutralized to the best with him as opposed to Landon Knack, Ryan Brazier.
For Walker Buehler. In New York. What about Yamamoto and pressure in New York?
Well, I think
pressure cooker.
Look, he pitched against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium earlier this year, and it was a Sunday. It
was one of his best outings.
It is arguably his very best outing. He was lights out against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium.
A lot of attention, but there's a lot at stake here.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot at stake in Game 5.
This is bigger. And I think M's right. There were questions about that. Hey, opening day.
That was
Korea,
the top of the hill for him. Now it just got a little steeper. Now you got to go to New York and do it.
It did, but he flew through that last stop looking pretty good.
Yeah,
because he pitched basically in 3 big games in the regular season, or in prior to Game 5. Opening day in Korea, he got lit up.
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah,
lit up. Yankee Stadium, national TV. He was lights out. Game 1 in the Padres series, he was bad. Okay, so 2 bad, 1 good. Now we're 2 good, 2 bad. So I don't think the stage is too big for him.
Well, like you said, I hope Walker Buehler is Walker Buehler. I know he's going to be Walker Buehler. I hope his stuff is Buehler-like for them. You know what I mean?
He was terrific in the last one.
He was. Again, and I hope you either way, I don't care who's on the bump, as long as you got to have your bats come around as well. You can't be 0 for 19. No. Your first 5 hitters.
If you're not going to hit, the only way you can win is the way they won in Game 5, which is you just run into a couple and you hope. But your pitching has to be perfect in that scenario. The reason they won Game 5 is not because they hit a couple of home runs; it's because they didn't give up any. That you're not going to throw a shutout. So I think Dodger fans almost the idea that, oh, well, we'll just won't give up any runs. That's how we'll win. Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Any truck on how Dave handled Knack? None?
Not really.
Okay, really didn't matter?
Look, the argument is go to somebody else earlier, a higher leverage guy earlier to keep it at 2, right? That once the bases got loaded, bring in
Yank.
Kopech or whoever and try to keep it at 2. Okay, there's no guarantee that that's going to work. You probably let him go. This goes back to when we were talking about Game 5, and you kept saying you don't let him work out of it.
That was for Yamamoto, right?
Yeah. And I get it. You're not wrong. It's different for different people. But in Game 2 with a 1-0 lead, I do have a little bit of cushion. I do have a little bit of, let's see if he works out of this. So, because if I have to use Kopech, now I'm in the game and I'm using high leverage guys. Now these guys are going to be super fresh by the time you get to Game 3.
You don't think this was a giveaway game for Dave? I mean, kind of,
Like,
sort of.
was he playing to win the series and not win yesterday's game?
Yeah, great question. Yeah.
I think he was playing the long game yesterday, and if things break, if Kike gets a bases loaded, instead of hitting a double play, he gets a double.
You're in that game.
Now we're back in this, and I'm making different decisions than if I hit into a double play. Now I'm making a different set of decisions. That you're kind of managing these things inning to inning. But once that grand slam was hit, it's like, all right, let's roll this until it's time not to. Until we crawl back into the game.
Wear it.
But Look, sometimes you got to wear it. You got to run the clock out. You got to play 9 innings. You got to go out. Somebody's got to do it. You want to do it with your best guys or your not best guys.
Here we are, depending on Buehler again in New York.
I
Can't you start the game by beating up the Gatorade bucket? How about that? Try that.
That's interesting.
That'd be fun.
What about a preemptive temper tantrum?
Go ahead. It seemed to work. Throw something to Dave. That seemed to work.
The Yankees are the Yankees. The Mets don't really have that hothead.
Steal a uniform. Go Harbaugh. Dress up in a Mets uniform and throw a ball at Dave.
Do you see what Harbaugh's doing to the lockers? Where he's